Welcome to Bike Comparos. Today we'll be comparing the Bajaj Dominar versus the Thunderbird 350. Pricing and features. The Dominar 400 non-ABS retails for 1.5 lakh rupees on road Delhi, which is actually 5,000 rupees cheaper than the Royal Enfield Thunderbird 350 costing 1.58 lakh. Both bikes are equipped with disc brakes at the front as well as the rear. Dominar gets LED headlamp while the Thunderbird gets a HID projector unit which lights up the road much better than the Dominar. However, the Dominar 400 gets a slipper clutch which is absent in the Thunderbird. Dominar 400 is also available with ABS for an added 15,000 rupees extra. Performance and tractability. The Dominar 400 boasts of big numbers on the spec sheet compared to the disappointingly low figures of the Thunderbird 350. The Thunderbird 350 doesn't stand a chance in hell against the Dominar 400 on the open road. The Dominar is over 6 seconds quicker than the Thunderbird 350 in a 0 to 100 kph drag race and also has a more than 20 kph higher top speed than the RE. However, the Dominar suffers from an extremely weak low end. Coupled with its hefty curb weight and muted exhaust note, it feels like a big bike fitted with a 125cc engine at lower revs. The Thunderbird on the other hand develops its peak torque at just 4000 rpm, which coupled with its dramatic exhaust note makes it feel much faster than it actually is at city speeds. Dominar's over-square engine is not a good match to its power cruiser persona, but Bajaj didn't really have any other option, so they had to stick with the KTM's block. Thunderbird's antiquated engine is world famous in India for its rustic thump, but as the revs rise, the thump gives way to a raucous and harsh exhaust note with enough vibrations seeping through all the touch points to pry the fillings out of your teeth. Reliability and after-sales service. Unfortunately, neither RE nor Bajaj are known for making reliable, hassle-free motorcycles. Both bikes are bound to have teething troubles, the Dominar being the first Bajaj product to get a desi head on the KTM 390 block. In case of the Thunderbird, in spite of being a derivative of an over 60-year-old product, Royal Enfield has not been able to sort out the age-old flaws of their bikes, which goes on to show their gross ineptitude at making reliable machines. Service too is equally bad at both their service centers, although Bajaj at least has a wide network reach and spares are much more sensibly priced than Royal Enfield's. Fuel efficiency. Both bikes returned more or less identical fuel efficiency of 31 kmpl in our back-to-back tests. Resale and cost of ownership. Thanks to robust demand from thick-skulled individuals of the motorcycling community, the Thunderbird 350 is bound to retain at least 10,000 rupees higher residual value than the Dominar 400 post a usage of 5 to 7 years. Overall, both bikes are bound to cost roughly the same in terms of overall ownership costs. However, that does not include the cost of unscheduled visits to the service station, which are bound to be higher in the TB350 and could push its ownership costs much higher. Handling and ride quality. The Dominar is on a different level compared to the Thunderbird in terms of dynamics. The Dominar uses fairly modern components like the perimeter frame, stamped metal swing arm, monoshock rear suspension, fat front forks and wide tires. It is set up more for comfort than handling, giving it a fantastic ride quality compared to the back-breaking ride of the TB350. The problem with the Thunderbird is that its ancient chassis design has so much flex in it by modern day standards that suspension needs to be set up stiffly to counter all the unwanted deformations of the chassis. It also affects the handling of the Thunderbird to the tune that leaning into corners is best left to the imagination. The Dominar handles far better. You can easily get your knee down around sweeping bends. However, due to its long wheelbase, it doesn't have the agility to quickly change its direction around switchbacks. Also, it is prone to excessive pitching due to its soft suspension and strong brakes. Comfort and ergonomics. Thunderbird is automatically assumed to be a comfortable tourer by prospective customers, but that is not really the case. The rider seat curves upward at the rear, which induces fatigue and lower back pain on long rides. Dominar 400 has a slightly forward-leaning riding position and a generously wide seat, which could have done with slightly softer cushioning but is nonetheless comfortable enough for short rides. On longer rides, you end up wishing for more upright seating and a bigger windscreen. That brings us to the verdict. Supposedly, the Thunderbird is the cruiser of the RE range. Over the years, Royal Enfield has made small improvements to it here and there, like the box section swing arm, the HID headlamp, rear disc brakes, gas charged suspension, and gotten rid of the ribbed front tire. However, RE hasn't been able to muster up the courage to address the antique powertrain or the archaic chassis. It continues to suffer from legacy issues that have been left unaddressed for decades. That itself is reason enough to discard it from your dreams. In reality, it has no real long term capabilities. As a motorcycle, it is slower, less refined, badly built, has inferior ride quality, is uncomfortable to sit, less feature rich, and more expensive to service and repair than the Dominar 400. No prizes for guessing that the Dominar 400 is our pick of this shootout.